You had, what, 6, 7 number ones, great album. You had a number one album. I remember when I was writing songs for a living, we were trying to get John Schneider cuts, and you still sing every bit as good as you did.
Oh,
but
thank you.
The gap that you had between then and the energy that you have now and working so hard getting all this music, did you lose your energy for making music or whatever? Did you get burned on it? And obviously you've always been a great actor and has always been an ambition. Did you just kind of get drawn off sides by acting and get over that and give it a rest? Or were you holding on through music through that period and just going, maybe I'll do this again, or maybe I've had my shot?
No, I thought I was over it. I thought I was done.
Yeah.
But Alicia reminded me that whenever I got in a rut, I'd pick up a guitar. That one, right there. I've had that since 1981. But you know me well enough now to know that if I get my dander up, if I see some injustice somewhere, I can't leave it alone. And I was on MCA, and I had done I don't even know if you know this. I'm Going to Leave You Tomorrow. I did a music video on it out at the Crazy Horse in Pomona. No one had done a music video yet. There was no place to show a country music video. Michael Jackson had just done Thriller, right? So it didn't exist. So I did a video, and I brought it to Bowen and the folks at MCA, and they kind of chuckled, and they thought it was cute. It was on 3/4 inch, right?
Uh-huh.
And they said, believe us when we say that country music or videos will never have anything whatsoever to do with the sale of country music. And I thought, well, that's awfully short-sighted. and then the next album we did was You Ain't Seen the Last of Me. And it was I think still there's stuff on that record that country music has just caught up with 30 years later. Sounds and feel, it's a great record. David Hungate and Matt Rawlings again, and Paul. Paul wasn't a drummer on that one. But so we changed the whole show. We had an agreement with MCA. We changed the feel of the songs. We changed the kind of songs we did. So I changed the show. I went out. I got the primo gig of your life. If you weren't Alabama, then opening for Alabama was the next best thing. So we're playing for 30,000 people on a Friday and 40 on a Saturday, and it was great. But the show was different. Torn up jeans and confused the hell out of Ralph Emery. He didn't know what had gone on. What, John, are you okay? And but they didn't change the promotion at all. And I went back during a tour with Alabama, and I was right there.
Yeah.
And they said, well, John, Bowen, everything Bowen ever said started or ended with, well, John, we thought about it. We listened, gave it another listen, and we decided it really wasn't that different after all. I thought, you bastard. I'm sorry. Really? Not that different? And so what I realized at that point was that he just kind of moved on. And the songs on that were top 10, doing great. Mm-hmm. But that combined with an effort with Ronnie Millsap and a bunch of folks to try to get a barcode. It sounds so simple now. Try to get SoundScan involved with country music because we didn't have it. And our belief was that if country music had a barcode on it, that it would outsell rock. It would outsell, basically, at that point,
we really
Bon Jovi.
knew how much we were selling.
Bon Jovi, yeah. Again, it was a very simple thing, but it wasn't there. There were no videos, and that didn't exist. So think about that time. Mm-hmm. I don't think you guys were together yet.
Yeah, not till 91, yeah.
So all of that short-sightedness, and finally I thought, if I don't have to do this, if I don't have to put up with that, then I'm going to stop. I'm loving Alabama, loving Randy, loving the boys, loving the whole thing. So I'm going to stop on my terms, kind of like saying I'm going to ask the judge, I can't do these things, so send me to jail. I don't want you to send me to jail. I want to go on my own. And somewhere in my head, there's a difference. So I called up my agent and I said, hey, book me solid until the last Alabama show and then I'm done. And what do you mean done for what? Because I had more records to do on MCA. Mm-hmm. But I can't, if I don't have to hang with disingenuous people, then I won't. I can't. It's just not in my nature. Mm-hmm. I can't fake it. So I left. And I convinced myself that, I'd been there, done that. I told Alicia many times, I've been there, done that, got a T-shirt. I had a number one album. What more do you want? Mm-hmm. And I had no idea what a truly, corny as it may sound, what a hole there was in my soul where my guitar used to be. And but I'm still not playing the game. I still won't play the game. But now there's no game to play.
Yeah.
The game is gone.
Well, the game's still there. It's just your game.
There we go. Yeah. So
it's more fun when it's your.
It's a whole lot more fun. Yeah. And you get to sing. But Bowen was great with making records. Bowen taught me how to make. I could not possibly make the Odyssey if I had not been taught how to express my music I found, not music I wrote, but my music through musicians in a confined space with someone recording it. If he hadn't taught me that, then this music wouldn't exist. I wouldn't know what an exceptional song was. I wouldn't know that live for me is better than track at a time. So I thank God for Jimmy Bowen, but for that, at that point, he lost whatever it was. Barcode never happened. And you know, when it did happen was they finally wanted to shut everybody up, and they put it on Garth's first record. I think he was the first one that had a barcode on it.
Really?
Yeah, and I guess the barcode made a bit of a difference there. And then everybody after that had a barcode, because back in my day, the rack jobbers would bring in a van, they'd bring 20 It's Now or Never or 20 Too Good to Stop Now albums to a Turtles Records, and they wouldn't go back for a month. And when they went back in a month, they'd give them 20 more. But they didn't know if they sold in 20 days or 20 minutes. And there was no way to find out.
Yeah.
So inventory, just basic inventory. And I don't think Christian music had a barcode until after country music did. I think country music proved that if you put a barcode, if you could do automatic inventory, that computers were around to stay.
And
right?
I think listeners may not understand what the significance is of a barcode. You keep saying that. So what's the difference is, I guess all of a sudden you have a legitimate count.
And instant.
Of sales and where stuff is, rather than your Aunt Catherine going, I just went to Walmart and there aren't any records.
So then I call MCA, who calls the rack jobber and says, well, we need to get more albums.
In a nationwide way, how many sales do you lose in all those markets that you may not even know about where you're hot?
Right.
You know?
Well,
if your Aunt Catherine doesn't live there.
That's right. Thank God for Aunt Catherine. That's right. Yeah, so it became that if you sold as soon as somebody bought the record and they did that beep, they scanned it, then it went to the mothership, and the mothership realized it. Now they call them algorithms.
Nebraska, we got something going on here,
yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So you missed all that stuff now. Now it's all about analytics. It's about algorithms. It's about all that kind of stuff. And if you follow that with Google Analytics or whatever stuff, whatever mechanism is out there, you can see exactly how we use it now is we find out, oh my gosh, Aunt Catherine doesn't live in Nebraska, but we just had 47 downloads, or we had 4,700 downloads, or we just sold an unusual amount of T-shirts in Nebraska. So let's book a room and do a concert there.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, Nebraska's digging my chili.
Yeah.
So you go there. So you can use that information. Information is king, right? So you can use that information to go out and do a better show, to book a room. But now you've got to have balls of steel because you're in the four-wall business. Mm-hmm. And four-walling is we book the theater, so we're on the hook for whatever the theater costs, and then we get the door. We get the lion's share percentage of the door, but we're risking it, which goes back again to if I don't believe in my music enough to spend my own money on it, then how can I expect someone else to? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of a good time for wildcatters.
Say you have
outlaws.
Like you've got 36 songs out. By the end of the year, you'll have 52 songs out. What happens? Do you have a way of saying, hey, this song in week number 3 and that song in week number 16 and that song, those songs are blowing up? Does that change the way you think, or would you do you deal with those songs in a different way?
It would change the
than
set
other
list,
ones?
certainly. I mean, it would change. That'll tell us, because we can't do 52 songs. We just did the Franklin Theater the other night.
Yeah.
And I think I crammed, 20 songs in there.
So how do you play? When you just played the Franklin Theater, what do you have for band? Is it just you doing a solo?
Me and Joe.
Uh-huh.
Me and Joe. You met Joe at Bo's Extravaganza.
Yeah.
So currently it's me and Joe.
Uh-huh.
We're about to turn the corner where I think I'm going to need a legitimate band behind me, but we haven't put it together yet.
But you're a good storyteller. Your songs got good meat to them. You're a good picker. The two of you make good.
We have fun.
You make
and
good noise.
We make good. Thank you. We have a ball, and the audience has a ball.
Yeah.
And there's not. And I'm like you. I'll just stop.
Yeah.
That reminds me of blah 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 blah, which will drive a band crazy.
Sure.
But the guitar, Joe gets a kick out of it. The more people you have, the less kick they get out of it.
Are we ever going to finish this song? Or are we ever going to play this song?
I know, right? Oh, my gosh. So I don't know. It just depends what we're discovering. And Alicia's the business mind here is that people will pay more for a band. They think the show is bigger if there's a band. I had a night in somewhere in Florida where my bus this was when I was touring, opening for Alabama. The bus broke down. So one of the fans was following us, and we put the T-shirts, my dog, my guitar, and crammed in this thing, and we're driving somewhere. So I opened for Alabama with my dog and my guitar on a stool for 30,000 people. And I got the better review. And it wasn't it was just like, way to go.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people stupid enough to sit there and do that. And it was great. And they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. So
those nights are good for your soul.
Yeah. So I don't know. And the dog loved it. Diesel. Found her at a truck stop. Diesel. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. They've got to be a special group of people that have fun.
Yeah.
That just they got to play their butts off, but they got to be ready to have a good time and follow John.
Yeah.
And John don't know where he's going. But, fly by the you got to have skills, obviously. You got to be able to deliver the lyric when all of a sudden your fingers start playing that song and your mouth says, "Oh, I like that song." You got to be able to deliver, but you got to have fun. And
big ain't always better. I mean, talking about Randy, we did a show together in New York last Monday night. Me and him and the Warren Brothers. It was Galani got a special award for education at IMC, and we did a writer's thing at the end of it. And Randy played. He's still singing great, and
still got that foot going.
He played. Oh yeah, he played a song, and he stopped in the middle of it. He said, I just did 4 shows in a row for 20,000 people, for 13,000 people. 20,000 people and for 30 people. He said, and I got paid the same for every show. I'm still looking for that guy that had the 30 people. Like to do some more of those. Why don't you play me something? You got your guitar, you mind?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Render us one.
Render you one. See if I can just Brian Mayer wrote this, and so cool. I was sitting in a room with Brian, and we had just written a fun song. I'm going to put it in a country song. Great thing. And I said, we're cutting this next in 2 weeks. And I said, this is my new favorite song. And I started to play, and he said, I wrote that. And I didn't know it. I didn't realize he had written it. I'll do a little. Used to be you'd never catch me on my knees, praying to anyone, praying for anything. Just figured I was down here on my own, just another lonely soul kicking dust down a lonely road. But you showed up and made me a believer that there's something bigger out there looking out for me. 'Cause without your love, I know I wouldn't be here. Don't know what you see in me makes you want to see this through. But thank God you do. Thank God you do.
Ah,
Isn't that, I mean, my God.
good stuff.
Every now and again you hear something that just says, that's exactly, I wish I'd written that. I wish. But I mean it, right? So
Yeah.
you find songs like that, and there's a ring on her forehead on the picture where the bottle sat last night. It might look like a halo, but I know it's a trick of the light. That smile on her face has a way to fool any old fool. She came straight from heaven, but remember, the devil did too. So we cut that. It's called An Angel Like Her. And
cool.
Can I Buy You a Beer? Which is a great way to say thank you to our men and women, and not only in uniform overseas, but our law enforcement here, our first responders. So the Odyssey is, it's a life's journey in 52 songs that are not intentionally related. Songs about love, songs about divorce, songs about jail, songs about all these different things that are part of any given person's life. Certainly part of my life. Written by the greatest greatest songwriters anywhere, and played by the greatest musicians in the world.
Very cool.
So what an honor.
For? Yeah.
I'm so excited to be back in that room.
Yeah.
With folks like Paul Lyme saying, "There's your record, Hoss," right?
Very cool.
And giving new life to Chuck Cannon songs and Whispering Bill Anderson songs.
Oh, yeah.
And Bobby Tomberlin songs, and there's a couple of co-written by John Schneider songs in there too. Which,
Good deal.
Yeah, I kind of shoehorned myself in on that deal.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, it's great to see you, man.
Great to see you.
Your energy is contagious. And one last time to get a hold of this music.
The best thing is just go to John Schneider Studios' Facebook page and click on Shop Now. It'll take you right to the Odyssey.
What about your Facebook Live stuff, like where you jump the kegs
Do
of
that
beer
all the time.
down there?
The kegs of beer.
And all that. Can you
He
still
jumped
see?
a thimble in that car. It was so dangerous.
Can you still see that stuff? Is it,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's all there too?
On YouTube, or go to johnschneiderstudios.com, and everything and a whole lot more you never want there. We have a new song that we just did called I Hate Cancer, that if you want to get yourself, if you're in agreement with most of us and we hate cancer, then get your I Hate Cancer t-shirt. Good. And Jim Martin wrote that. Who's cool. It's a wonderful song. But yeah, it's a great life. It's fun. I'm going to think about this reality show. Yeah, don't do a reality show. Just live one.
Yeah.
Right? And
there's gold in them there hills.
There's gold in them there hills.
If you got enough chaos going.
I think I could.
I think you might be a prime candidate. Good seeing you.
Thank you, my friend.
All
so
right.
much fun.
All right.
So much fun.